now to discuss that is Naina Lal Kidwai, Chairperson of Max Financial Services. Naina, appreciate you joining us. What did you make of Urjit Patel and the MPC's first monetary policy? Would you say it's been conservative or more dovish than what you were expecting?
Shereen, I think for a first policy, Urjit has come through exactly as I would have thought. He's clearly been part of a team which looked at inflation closely, and inflation numbers have delivered in that they're 100 basis points below where they were earlier. So there was no reason for them, both the MPC and the governor, to have withheld the rate cut which we see today. So I'm not surprised to see this happen, and in fact I would not be surprised if in December we see another such cut, given that at least my expectation is that inflation is going to continue on its way down, at least for the rest of this year.
So you're expecting another 25 basis point cut in December, and Naina, by the end of this financial year, by March 2017, what would the quantum be, as according to you, that we have room for?
So I think just another 25 basis points, and I would like to believe it would come in earlier rather than later. And the reasons I would say this is, we're seeing food inflation looking very much corrected and on the way down, a good monsoon, even vegetable prices beginning to correct. We still have the benefit of the so-called oil bounty, which we have benefited from. And the GST potentially inflationary cycle is, depending, of course, where GST settles, even the 3 rates as they are being looked at. But if it were to be inflationary, that's really not going to kick in till the middle of next year. So why not take the benefit in early, and particularly where we need growth to come back in, particularly private sector growth. Because if you look at where we benefited last year, was the government translated the oil bounty of high excise tax on oil and a low price of oil, into very quickly putting it into public investment. And we saw public investment grow almost 21%. And there's no way that we're going to be able to keep up that rate of public investment now. It's already slowing, and the fisc, which is looking strong and good, is not going to give enough leeway to the government, to my mind, to actually take investment back up to where it's been over the past year. So in that case, we need private investment to come back in, and lower interest rates, particularly if there's transmission of these low interest rates to banks, which has been a challenge.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Naina, because, even the governor admitted today that transmission has been lower than expectation. And given where we are continuing to see private sector investment, which has been sluggish right through, do you believe that a 25 basis point cut that's been announced today, and even if there were to be another 25 basis point cut in December, and given global demand continuing to be weak, do you really see private sector investment picking up?
I think we are seeing signs of that coming up, and maybe less because of the interest rate cuts, because you're right in pointing out that the transmission is not happening as we would hope. But we will see this investment and growth coming back up because of consumption. And rural consumption is already up. And as we see Europe, and we see some of the government's own schemes, salary pay commission, etc., coming through, we will continue to see a demand-led consumption growth, which will pull investment back into the economy. Now, this may take time, but the fact is that as existing capacity, which is underutilized, begins to actually kick again, we will see the whole mood of investment returning. So the combination of lowering interest rates, but even more the consumption drive, I think will drive this whole cycle back up. And I think it's going to be important to have private sector investment kick back in. We need public investment to stay strong. There's indications that highways, roads, etc. will continue, but we need that growth to stay strong, because it also helps to kickstart the economy and keep the growth momentum up.
You're absolutely right. In fact, the Commerce Minister speaking to us on the show, making that pitch to corporate India, saying India is looking upwards. It is now time for the private sector to step up. But Naina, I always appreciate you joining us. Naina Lal Kidwai expects another 25 basis point rate cut in December. Will the governor and the MPC oblige? That's the big question. On that